This is so random, okay? This is one of the most randomest, I don't know. This is the most random video I have ever filmed in my entire life. Just being spontaneous, which is not really in my nature. I get tons of freaking messages on the daily, hun. Like, I mean, my inboxes always, when I wake up in the morning on Instagram, have at least 5 messages of people asking me, where do I start with Amo Jones? Now, we all know I'm a whore for Amo. Like, I love Amo. She's one of my favorite authors I've ever read. I'm obsessed with her and her books. I just find her books super unique, super different. None of them are the same. She always brings something new to whatever she's writing, and she just mind fucks me. She just fucks my head, and I love getting head fucked. You know, give me a little bit of a suspense, but also give me some fucking romance. Like, I'm all about that life, okay? I'm all about that life. We all know, well, if you don't know already, Amo is a dark romance writer. She doesn't really write like fluffy romances. Most of the time they're pretty dark. Anyway, yeah, I get asked all the time, you know, where do I start first? She has so many books, blah, blah, blah. So, I haven't read her entire backlist, but I have read a good chunk of her books. And today I'm going to sit down and go through all of them that I own and tell you what they're about, if they're my favorites, where to read them, okay? I'm giving you a guide to her books, where to start, where to finish. Now, I have done like an author edition video before, talking about her books, but that was a few months ago. I've read more of her books now, and I'm actually currently reading one as well, so we'll talk about that in today's video. So yeah, it's pretty much just a guide to Amo's fucking romances, okay? Because even though her books are fucking confusing at times, so is her backlist. Like, even when I started reading her and looked up all her other books, I was like, where the fuck do I start? Okay, I was so confused. So we're doing this video for her and for you guys that may, you know, get a little bit confused and not know where to start with her. Because I'm filming this today, the makeup is dark, okay? She's smoky, she's intense. Anyway, yeah, I did all this today to just fucking, you know, talk about romance. Anyway, moving on, okay, because we don't want to babble, we want to get into the actual video. I'm going to talk about some of her standalones first before I get into her series and her duets that I've read. So, I actually haven't read this book here that I'm going to talk about. This is Flip Trick by Amo Jones. I'm planning on it, obviously. The reason why I'm putting it in this video is because I have had people ask me what book is kind of more fluffy and more lighter and not as dark as the others. Now, from what I've heard in reviews and also from Amo herself, I believe that this is the lightest and not so dark romance that she has written. This is obviously a standalone, and it is a romance with the heroine and her stepbrother. So I guess, I don't know because I haven't read it, if you wanted to start off in the, you know, shallow end of Amo's fucking romances, I would go with Flip Tricks first before moving into her darker stuff. I'm just going to be completely real. Not everyone is going to like Amo's books. She is unique and her writing is brilliant and very poetic at times, but she talks and writes about dark stuff. I've had a couple of my subscribers take on Amo's recommendations from me and then read them and then not be able to finish them because they were just too dark for them. I'm warning you, like, if you don't like dark romance, you're probably not going to like the rest of Amo's books. You probably will like this one though. Amo also does put trigger warnings pretty much in every single one of her books as well. So if you read beyond that, like past that point, then it's kind of on you, hun. But just be mindful that this is dark romance, and dark romance is dark for a reason. It's meant to stir up emotions. It's meant to make you feel a certain way. It's meant to make you feel uncomfortable. That's the whole point of dark romance. It's not meant to be this fluffy, like, life's beautiful, everything's perfect. Because let's be real, hun, life isn't that at all. Sometimes it's nice to read something with a little bit more grit. If you want to start off in the shallow end, you don't want to dive in deep, baby, I'd go with Flip Trick first. Apparently it's amazing. I've heard really good reviews, but I just personally haven't read it yet. Then we have Sicko. So I read this last year. It was released last year. This was the first book from Amo that I had read, and this is what made me fall in love with Amo. So if you haven't read anything from Amo and you're not afraid of dark romance, you're okay with trigger warnings and stuff, I would say start with this one because this gave me a really, really good idea about her writing and her style and what type of like plots she creates and stuff like that. It's about this girl who kind of has a thing with her foster brother, and her foster brother is involved in an MC club. So if you do like crime, MC clubs, mafia type of stuff, you will really like this. But there is kind of like sex slavery and stuff in here, human trafficking, so just be mindful of that. As I said, there is trigger warnings before going into this book, so if you read past that point, it's kind of on you if you get triggered, hun. Anyway, brilliant. I was obsessed with this. I devoured this in one sitting, and it just honestly made me fall in love with her as an author. So that's why I suggest people going to this one first before diving into her series and stuff like that. Then we've got this stack right here. So this is the Elite Kings Club. This is one of Amo's really freaking popular book series, and it's one of my favorites of all time. I'm gonna go through these one by one and tell you guys a little bit about them. So the first book you wanna read in the Elite Kings Club is Silver Swan. It's about Madison. She moves to a new school. Her father remarries after she loses her mother, and she kind of gets involved with these guys that are very dominant. They're known to be a part of the Elite Kings Club. That's why the series is called that. And Madison forms a romance with Bishop, who is the head honcho, like the alpha, the like ultimate alpha of the Elite Kings. So that's book one. Then we have The Broken Puppet, which is an extension of Madison and Bishop. Then we have this one here that I can never pronounce, which again is an extension of Madison and Bishop, but this one also kind of explains a lot of the series and all the plots that's going on. So it kind of like, it's world building, I feel like. I feel like this book builds the world of the Elite Kings Club more. It's not my favorite book out of the series, but I feel like it is necessary to read to understand the series. Then we have Malum Part 1. This is one of my favorite covers I've ever come across in my life, and this is about Tilly and Nate. You meet those characters in the first 3 books. Then we have Malum Part 2, which is also Tilly and Nate, an extension of their relationship. Then we have book 6, which is Sancte Diaboli. I can never say it. This is a recent release, and this obviously is, as I said, book 6 of the Elite Kings Club. And this book is about Brantley and Saint. These are characters that you meet in the series as well. Part 2 comes out soon, and then she's going to write one final book to this series, and then it's complete. This series is extremely amazing. I don't know how to describe it. It is a different freaking world, but it's like a modern different world. I get like a touch of fantasy with this book, but it's also real, if you know what I'm saying. Like the characters use iPhones, they've got Instagram, they're driving bougie cars, they're wearing designer brands. Like it's modern, but like there's a hint of fantasy with it. The Elite Kings Club is like a different world. It's a secret type of like society, kind of similar to a mafia, but not quite. You'll either love it, like wholeheartedly, won't be able to get over it and become obsessed with it, or it just won't be your cup of tea. As I said, it's super dark. There's a lot of like suspense, mystery. There's a lot of holes in the plot in the beginning, but that kind of feeds you to continue on to read because you want to figure everything out. Like when I read all this for the first time, was completely and utterly mind fucked. And I was like, this is brilliant. Like I don't know what's going on half the time, but I need to find out. And as the series continues on and as it comes to an end, you get all the conclusions that you're looking for. Like everything starts making sense. I would go after Sicko to the Elite Kings Club. Now, after you read the Elite Kings Club, I would suggest you read this bad boy. I'm actually currently reading this right now. So this is Manik. This is a standalone, but I do suggest you guys reading this before moving on to her next series because these characters show up in the next series just briefly, but it will just make more sense when you come across them in the next series because of this book. So this is about this girl. Well, I'm reading it right now, so I don't know too much about it. It's about this girl that gets taken because she's seen a crime that she shouldn't have seen be committed by a famous rapper who is also involved with the Russian brat bar. So if you're someone that's into the whole famous trope, you're into the whole alpha male, if you're into the whole criminal syndicate type of shit, brilliant. So far, anyway, I haven't finished it. And the cover is so cool. So after you read Manik, I suggest you go into the Midnight Mayhem series. So there's only 2 books here. I believe after she finishes the Elite Kings Club, she'll finish off this series. I hope so. I hope she does finish this off as soon as possible, because I feel like even though I love the Elite Kings Club, this series is my favorite that she's done. It's something so unique. It doesn't get enough hype. Everyone talks about the Elite Kings Club, but I feel like this is the best. There's something so unique about this. So the first book we have is, yes, In Peace Lies Havoc. Now this series is about a sex circus. It's similar to the Elite Kings Club in the sense that it has like a secret society type of thing going on. That's the only thing that makes them kind of similar. The Elite Kings Club characters actually show up in this for a little bit as well, so that's really cool. This one here is about Dove, who gets abducted by a bunch of guys and pretty much forced to perform in this circus that is like sexy and like mysterious and dangerous and just, I don't know, I don't know how to explain it. It's so crazy, but it's brilliant. Then we have book 2, which is about a different couple in the book that you meet in book 1. So I believe that this series will be a companion novel series. I think the 3rd book is going to be about some characters that you have already met in these 2 books. And I think she said on Instagram the other day it will be a male-female romance, which I'm super psyched about. If you love steamy shit, Emma writes brilliant sex scenes, but they're fucking kinky, dude. Okay, they're super fucking kinky. They're not like really beautiful, like let's make love. No, bitch. It's kinky as fuck. Like in Sicko, there's one sex scene in here that still to this day has stuck with me, because I'm like, that was amazing. Like I actually wanted to be the main character, because I thought like that would have been such an intense and amazing experience personally to participate in that sex scene. So yes, there's only 2 books for now in the Midnight Mayhem series, but there will be more. And don't sleep on this. If you like the Elite Kings Club, you're going to love Midnight Mayhem. And I feel like, yeah, it's one of Emma's most underrated. Then we have The Crowned Duet. So the first book is Crowned by Hate. First off, this is one of my favorite covers I've ever come across in my entire life. Absolutely brilliant, stunning. This is a mindfuck, okay? This is the definition of a mindfuck. I feel like Amo just one day sat down at a computer and was like, I want to screw with my readers. I want to penetrate their fucking brain. I want to loosen the fucking screws and let them roll around in the skull and not put them back together. This book definitely ended up being something that I fucking wasn't expecting, and that is the beauty of Amo. You go into one of her books thinking it's going to be something, and then it ends up being not that at all. This is about a girl who is the daughter of the President of the United States of America. Couldn't get that out then. And then she ends up, I think it's like an arranged marriage. I read this a while ago. I can't really remember. I believe she ends up having to marry one of her enemies, and it goes from there. And book 1 is left on such a fucking cliffhanger, but what I have heard is when she released this, it took her like 3 years or something to write this part 2. I didn't have to wait that long. I read the second one straight away. So just be mindful that this is a cliffhanger. But then we have Crowned by Fate, which is part 2 of Crowned by Hate. And yeah, I don't want to say anything about this book because it will literally ruin this one. So yeah, I would read this if you enjoy the rest of Amo's books, something fast-paced and something that is just going to completely fuck with your head. Like completely and utterly just screw you in the brain. Like it just, there's no other way of explaining this. So that's all the books from Amo I own. As I said, this is my guide to you guys, how I think you guys should read them and what order to read them in. So I hope that helps. Super random video, I know. I hope it wasn't boring. I really hope it wasn't boring. It was more like informative about her books than anything. But yeah, go with Flip Tricks if you want something that is a little bit more lighter, and then move on to Sicko, and then go Elite Kings Club, then you go Manik, then you go Midnight Mayhem, and then you go The Crowned Duet. I'll link all these books and the Amazon links to these books down below in the order of what I think you should read them in, and then you can just screenshot it if you want and keep it on your phone if you're interested in reading them in general, and also reading them in the order that I suggested. Please don't go into her books if you don't have the stomach for twisted shit. I've had a couple of people read her stuff and be like, oh, it was too dark for me. Like, wow, I am telling you guys, it's not light, it's not fluffy, it is dark shit. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, thumbs it up. Also subscribe before leaving. As I said, everything will be linked down below. Follow me on all my social media platforms. It's just more to Mary. And if you want to join my book club, it's Mary's Sick Twisted Bitches on Facebook, links down below as well. Hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.